I own nothing. Walking through a forest was a 16-year-old teen. The teen had spiky blonde hair, pale skin, dull stormy grey-blue eyes with slit pupils, though if one looked closely they'd see the well-hidden bloodlust within them, 3 whisker marks on each cheek, wearing a black hooded raincoat, black gloves, black pants, and black combat boots. This teen was Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchu Uriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. The reason Naruto was walking through a forest was because he had just finished one of his games. This one was particularly disappointing. It only lasted 5 days, he'd been hoping it would last at least a week. If Naruto was honest, he's started getting bored with his games. They've long since lost the joy and pleasure they brought him when he first started when he was 8 years old. Oh, that first game always still manages to bring a smile to his face. But now, his game has lost the challenge. The only reason he even still plays them is because the game is a part of him now. Also, recently Naruto has begun feeling something strange for the past few days, as if he's being watched, which is strange since he's usually the one watching people. Along with sometimes hearing voices in his head, which itself isn't strange given he's heard voices in his head since that day, but this voice was different. Naruto, this way, follow my voice. There it is again. Naruto thought, stopping in his tracks, looking around before heading in a different direction. Whoever this was obviously wasn't in his head, meaning someone was communicating with him mentally, which should be impossible as the only people he knew that could communicate mentally were the Yamanaka clan. And last he checked, they're all dead. So, it made Naruto curious that there was someone who could speak to him mentally. Besides, if nothing else, maybe this person can play my game. Naruto thought, smirking at the thought of having someone that can prove a challenge. Naruto continued following the voice, soon arriving in a clearing where he saw a woman sitting on a rock, appearing to be waiting for him. The woman had long braided black hair, stormy grey eyes, fair skin, wearing some kind of armor Naruto's never seen. Though what set Naruto on guard was the aura she gave off, one that radiated pure power. Power that demanded respect. If Naruto cared about such things, he'd think the woman was incredibly beautiful, more beautiful than any woman he's seen before or played with. Are you the woman talking in my head? Said Naruto bluntly, not one to dance around words unless he's playing one of his games. The woman was momentarily stunned at his bluntness, not expecting it before composing herself. Please sit, Naruto, we have much to discuss. Said the woman, I prefer standing. Naruto dismissed, making the woman frown, not used to being dismissed like that, but nodded very well. My name is Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and battle. I am also your mother, making you a demigod. Athena revealed, Naruto stiffening when she said she was his mother. That's impossible. His mother was Kushina Uzumaki, the only person who loved him unconditionally, the person who died so that he could live, and this little bitch dared to claim she was his mother. Forget a game, he's slicing her throat open right now. You're lying. Naruto whispered, his bowie knife sliding out of his sleeve into his waiting hand. No, I'm not. You may have known my mortal aspect, Kushina Uzumaki. Athena said, her hair and eyes briefly flashing red and purple respectively. This made Naruto freeze. No, that's impossible. His mother is dead, died protecting him from the Kyuubi's claw. It's a trick, all a trick, and he'll handle this woman the same way he handles all people who think they can trick him. By killing them. If that's true, then why are you here now? Hissed Naruto, not really caring for her reasons, as she's going to be dead soon. I am here because I'm going to bring to my world, as it will soon need your help facing a grave threat. Athena said, what makes you think I'd help you with anything? Naruto growled, his eyes turning red while he felt the familiar excitement just before sinking his blade into a warm body. Athena frowned at this, this wasn't going she had expected. She had thought her son would be overjoyed to know she was alive and welcome her with open arms and commit himself to whatever she needed as her son. While true he is more naive and not as smart as her other children, from what she saw of him in his younger years, though she should have expected it given he grew up as an orphan with no one to properly teach him. Naruto, you are but one of a much larger family and they are in need of your help. Athena said, thinking that would convince him to join her to meet the rest of his siblings. This however only increased his anger, that she had more children, ones she apparently cared about more than him. And she thinks he'd actually help them. Not only was she stupid, she's delusional. Naruto was more likely to end their miserable lives one by one. You're under the impression I'll go anywhere with you. Naruto said, I'm sorry my son, but you don't have a choice. Close your eyes, said Athena, not feeling the least bit remorseful. Right after I see if gods bleed, thought Naruto, preparing to slash her throat open. However, before Naruto could raise his knife, Athena began glowing brightly, forcing him to shield his eyes. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a completely different forest. What? Shouted Naruto, looking around angrily. Go that way, you'll soon arrive at a place called Camp Half-Blood. Now I must take my leave before my father notices my absence, said Athena, glowing bright, forcing Naruto to shield his eyes again. Who the fuck do you think you are? Naruto yelled. Athena thought her son was rather bold to talk to her like that before vanishing back to Olympus. Once the flash was gone, Naruto growled in anger. If that bitch thought he'd do anything she said, she was dead wrong. Turning in the opposite direction of the camp his mother told him to go to, though he did contemplate going there if only just to slaughter anyone he finds there. But no, first he needs to learn everything he can about this apparently alternate world. Though among the anger he felt, Naruto couldn't help but grin evilly. Maybe this new world could prove more challenging than his own. He supposed he could thank his mother for that, right before he kills her. First things first, learning everything he can learn about this world, then he will plan his greatest game yet. Time skip 7 years. A month had passed after the Second Giant War and Gaia's defeat. The demigods of Camp Half-Blood and Camp Jupiter took action. The new alliance between Greek and Roman demigods had caused stir in their world. Monsters scattered, barely acknowledging themselves, and the demigods took this chance with full force. Demigods on both sides worked together, creating a nation of sorts. They built a city close to Camp Half-Blood called New Greece, and began building forts and settlements all across the American nation. Businesses opened, trading, and new nation was built in less than 3 years. The demigods even managed to build a citadel in Alaska. The united camps on both sides had even made the Olympians act more mature, with Zeus agreeing to allow the gods to help build this nation. But like all nations, leadership was required to keep order and balance. So, a group of the most powerful demigods created what was referred to as the Demigod Council, which oversaw the protection of the Demigod Republic and Olympus. The council was made up of the most powerful and elder demigods alive, including Percy Jackson, Jason Grace, Annabeth Chase, Piper McLean, Leo Valdez, Frank Jong, Hazel Levesque, Thalia Grace, Reina Arellano, Nico D'Angelo, and the eldest and some considered best demigods Kaijin and Master Ambrose. The council, though didn't make the laws or rules, merely upheld them. That duty was still held by the gods, with Hermes delivering any updates to the council. Ever since the Republic was formed, things have been going very well for all demigods, with the gods and demigods calling it their golden age. With the council doing an excellent job in keeping the peace and order. That is until recently. Recently several demigod settlements have been hit with a string of strange murders, Normally this wouldn't be cause for concern, with most thinking it was just some monsters brave enough to attack and killing a few demigods before being sent back to the underworld. That is, if the cause of death were caused by monsters. When all the bodies were found, it showed the wounds were caused by a weapon, a knife to be specific, no by claws, teeth, or even being torn apart. So, whoever was doing the killings was not a monster. At first the council didn't get involved, believing the militia of the first attacked settlement could handle it, that is until they found 5 more bodies all in different settlements. With this the council got more involved investigating the killings themselves. At first, they'd find 2 or 3 bodies a week, then they started finding 8, then 12, until after 2 months they had found 75 dead demigods, all in several different settlements, all either Roman or Greek. The council had no choice but announce that there was a serial killer on the loose. This of course spread fear throughout the Republic, causing the council to enact their emergency powers. The emergency powers were given to the council by the gods to use in times of war or great crises. The council enacted a curfew to all settlements, making sure all demigods travel in at least groups of 3, and with having ways to quickly call for help or report suspicious activities. Currently the council was gathered in the temple having been designed by Annabeth with the help of Athena and Zeus. The temple had several rooms, the first being the war room to plan attack and defenses, which was never used given monsters no longer attacked demigods. The library and archives, possessing all the books from both Greek and Roman libraries. The training rooms for young demigods with different classes depending on what they'll train to be, whether fighters, healers, builders, or communicators. The hangar where Leo and other children of Hephaestus and Vulcan build jets, airplanes, and boats for easier transport of demigods. Finally, was the council room, a large circular room with 12 chairs surrounding a large table, each chair designed for a specific council member. Kai's seat was a mix of old Roman stones along with symbols of the Chinese language as well as symbols of animals engraved into it. His main symbol on his chair was a katana showing his mastery with swords and ninja fighting style as well as samurai mastery. Ambrose's seat was smaller than the rest, which had ancient symbols and Greek stone mixed with some wood and had stars and comets on it showing his knowledge of space. His main symbol was a staff showing his mastery of magic and power of spells. The Lea's seat was made from wood and had animal skins on it with it glowing like the moon with silver metal glimmering in the light. It had animal symbols on it as well as stars and constellations. Her symbol was a bow inside of a moon showing her mastery of the bow and her loyalty to Artemis as her lieutenant. Rhaena's seat was made of Roman stone with images of swords and shields within it as well as purple banners flowing from the sides and the letters SPQR engraved on it as well as symbols of wings and a Pegasus on it. Her symbol was a sword with the letters SPGR engraved on it showing her leadership skills and loyalty to Camp Jupiter and New Rome. Frank's seat was made of Roman stone mixed with a bit of Greek with a boar engraved on its side with a bow and spear engraved as well along with purple banners with SPQR on it which had swords and shields decorated it. His symbol was a symbol of a man mixed with a bear, bird and wolf showing his ability to shape-shift as well as his leadership skills. Leo's seat was made of different metals, celestial bronze, imperial gold, Greek and Roman stone and had symbols of a dragon, for Festus, and a warship, for the Argo II, engraved as well and some flames. His main symbol was a forge and hammer showing his mastery of smithing and crafting and his control over fire. Piper's seat was made of Greek stone with symbols of musical notes as well as roses and doves, but not only that, it had symbols of daggers and a lightning bolt through a heart and a Cherokee symbol. Her main symbol was a heart with musical notes around it with a dagger inside it showing her ability of charm speak and her skills with a dagger. Hazel's seat was made of gems and jewels with Roman stone and gold. silver and all other rare valuables. Her main symbol was of a ghost with mist surrounding it with gold coins at its feet, showing her ability to control the mist and her relation to Pluto and her ability to summon gems and jewels from the earth. Jason's seat was made of imperial gold with Roman stones and had some purple and orange banners flowing from it as well as lightning bolts and storm clouds on it. His chair had a blue color to it and had a sword and shield symbol on it as well. He also had a symbol of a wolf as well as a peacock symbol showing his position as champion of Juno and Hera. His symbol was over a lightning bolt with a sword showing his ability to control lighting and fly as well as his position of being the son of Jupiter. Annabeth's seat was made of Greek stone as well as some Roman stone with symbols of books and owls and swords and shields. She also had a symbol of a trident, for her relationship with Percy, on her seat as well as bolt of lightning and a picture of the golden fleece, for her participation the lightning thief and sea of monsters quests. She also had a picture of the Athena Parthenos which she had recovered herself. Her symbol is a picture of an owl with a dagger in its claws as well as a building in the background showing her position as architect of Olympus and her loyalty to her mother Athena and her power as a warrior. Percy's seat was like a laid-back seat made of Greek stone and wood with symbols of fish and dolphins as well as a trident with waves and whirlpools around it. It had Atlantean steel engraved in it along with an owl symbol, for his relationship with Annabeth, and a picture of a cookie, for the blue cookies his mom makes him. On its side there was also a picture of a Pegasus next to a hellhound, for his two companions Black Jack and Mrs. O'Leary. It also had a fishing pole along with a cyclops eye with a picture of the Empire State Building and the word Camp Half-Blood. His main symbol was a trident which middle spike was a sword showing his current position as the best swordsman alive in the last 300 years and the son of Poseidon as well as hero of Olympus. Finally was Nico's seat which was made of black Greek stones with Stygian iron and with pictures of ghosts, shadows, swords and skulls along with skeletons, a picture of a scythe, with the helm of darkness and Cerberus with the symbol of a hellhound, the symbol for the Furies. The seat also had bones added to its sides with a seal of Pluto showing his position as ambassador of Pluto. It also had a picture of a girl with a bow, her hair braided back with the word Sorella underneath it, for his fallen sister Bianca. His main symbol was a skull with shadows around it with rubies inside the eye sockets along with a sword through the skull showing his powers of death and shadows and as a child of Hades. Currently all 12 council members were present while on the table were files of all the victims of their killer. Most of the bodies were found just lying around, the killer not even bothering to hide them, but there were also some bodies were put up on display in what were public places, as if the killer wanted to show everyone they were particularly proud of these victims. It sickened all of them that someone was this twisted to hang bodies up in display. Okay, so far what do we know? Asked Percy, rubbing his head, as they've been here for hours discussing any connection between the victims, where they were found, and what settlements they lived in. All the victims were found in different settlements, maybe 7 or 8 in each, before there's a break of at least 3 or 4 days before more bodies start dropping again. 6 to 5 of the victims were demigods, the other 10 were satyrs or nymphs. 10 were children of Hermes, 15 of Aphrodite or Venus, 5 of Hephaestus, 4 of Mars, 6 of Demeter or Ceres, 10 of Apollo. Roman and Greek versions, and 15 are of unknown parentage. Kai said in growl-like voice. Kai was a tall Chinese male with scars all over his body. He had tan skin along with tattoos of dragons and katanas on his body. He had no hair and one of his eyes was scared from a battle with a hellhound. He always carried his katana wherever he went and wore dark brown monk robes and sat with an air of power and confidence. The council members whose parents were called looked down sadly at the deaths of their siblings. What about the unknown ones? Asked Hazel. We do not know. The bodies were too cut up to recognize any defining features. responded Ambrose sadly. At all the deaths Ambrose was small, smaller than a child, but looked old beyond belief. He had a long white beard that went to his chest and carried a wooden cane and green eyes that shines with years of knowledge. His robes were much like Kai's, but instead of being brown they were tannish white. Thalia, were you or any of the hunters able to pick up any tracks or clues left behind by the killer, anything that could get us a lead on them? Said Jason, looking to his sister, who clenched her fists. No, whoever this is knows how to cover their tracks and scent. Thalia said in annoyance, finding it insulting none of the hunters could find so much as a clue of who the psycho doing this was. The only thing left behind is this, said Leo, pointing to a drawing in that's found at all the murder scenes, a picture of a ghoulish mask, drawn in blood. It reminded them all of the ghost face mask, only darker, and more organic looking. They all guessed that must be what the killer wore to hide their identity, not like it mattered, as anyone who's seen them doesn't live long to tell anyone, and they've never got so much as a picture. Just who was this maniac? Later. Annabeth groaned as she closed the door to her and Percy's apartment. They had both moved into the city surrounding the temple, as it'd be easier than traveling all the way there. It also helped that there was perfect replica of the college from New Rome built there. The apartment was a decent size for two people, having a kitchen, a living room, a second floor with a bedroom, bathroom, a balcony overlooking the city, a spare room, and a walk-in closet. What? She may not be a daughter of Aphrodite, but she's still a girl who loves clothes shopping. The meeting had lasted another hour before ending. Percy and most of the others decided to stay behind to try to find any connection between the killings. The only other who left were Thalia, Jason, Piper, and Nico. Going upstairs, Annabeth walked into the spare room where a large board with dozens of postings and pictures were put up. This was everything she has managed to collect on the killings, wanting to do her own investigation. There were pictures of all the victims with their godly parent, where they lived, and in the center was a picture with question mark and the word killer over it, along with the mask symbol seen at the crime scenes. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Thought Annabeth, biting a pen cap. Call it the Athena in her, but Annabeth wanted to solve this crime on her own, if only to find out the killer's reason for it. Annabeth then turned her attention to the wall where pictures of the 15 unknown demigods were hung. This one really had Annabeth's interest, the reason being these 15 demigods were all the ones found put on display. Not only that, but the reason why they couldn't be identified was because there was nothing to identify them by. The fingerprints were cut up beyond recognition, the teeth were pulled out or smashed in, the faces slashed up, all the blood was contaminated with bleach, and the eyes pulled out. Why go through the trouble of making it so these 15 couldn't be identified? What makes them different from the rest? Annabeth thought she had two theories. The first being the killer had a grudge against these specific demigods and wanted to show it through acts of cruelty. The second was the demigods had the same godly parent and the killer went after their godly mom/dad by going after the children, and cut them up so they wouldn't be able to tell whose children they were. Annabeth was cut from her thoughts when she took a closer look at the victims, seeing some similar features. All of them had slight muscular frames, likely from exercising every day, but not like the swimmer build Apollo's children had or the muscle-bound ones of ours, but enough to show they weren't pushovers. The second was their hair, honey blonde color, the exact same shade as her own, thought Annabeth, grabbing a strand of her hair. And she was sure if they still possessed their eyes they'd be stormy gray. Could it be? Annabeth thought before she could continue her train of thought. She heard the front door open. Percy. I thought you were staying at the temple with the other. Annabeth said, not receiving an answer, confusing her. Percy called Annabeth, still not receiving an answer, freezing when she heard footsteps downstairs. Annabeth grabbed the bat in the room, since she didn't have her knife with her. Slowly going out the room, Annabeth looked around, slowly moving downstairs, looking over the railing, not seeing anything out of place, though she gulped when she saw the front door wide open. Risking it, Annabeth ran down and quickly shut the door and locked it, breathing a sigh of relief. Ring ah! Screamed Annabeth, looking around before realizing it was her cell phone. Pulling it out, Annabeth saw it was an unknown caller. Confused, Annabeth answered. "Hello?" said Annabeth. "Hello?" "Yes." Annabeth asked, "Who is this?" Who are you trying to reach?" questioned Annabeth, wondering if this person wasn't all there in the head or one of those weird fans. "What number is this?" "Well, what number are you trying to reach?" "I don't know." "Well, I think you have the wrong number." Annabeth said. "Do I?" "It happens, take it easy," said Annabeth, hanging up. That was weird. Annabeth thought, preparing to go back upstairs. Ring ah! "Hello," said Annabeth. "I'm sorry, I guess I dialed the wrong number." "So, why'd you dial it again?" Annabeth asked to apologize. "You're forgiven." "Bye now," said Annabeth, really wanting to hang up. Wait, don't hang up." "Why?" Annabeth questioned, wondering why she hadn't hung up yet. "I wanted to talk to you." "Well, I'm sure there are numbers for that." "See ya," said Annabeth, hanging up before the person could say anything else, releasing a breath. Ring ah! "Really?" Annabeth thought. "Hello," said Annabeth. "Why don't you wanna talk to me?" "Who is this?" Annabeth asked. "You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine." "I don't think so," said Annabeth, now starting to get nervous. "Come on, just talk to me, I promise I don't bite." "Okay, fine, what do you wanna talk about?" Annabeth asked. What do you like to watch?" "I don't. Game of Thrones, Scandal," said Annabeth, walking around How to Get Away with Murder. "Yeah, that one's pretty good, I guess," Annabeth said, looking up the stairs. "I like a strong female lead. You sound pretty strong yourself. I feel sorry for anyone who tries attacking you." "Don't even joke about that," said Annabeth, not finding it funny with all the killing going on. "I'm sorry, what else do you like? Comedy, horror?" "Definitely not horror, real life is scary enough these days." "I barely sleep anymore," muttered Annabeth. "You do look tired." This made Annabeth freeze, looking at her phone, starting to get scared. "What?" said Annabeth. "You sound tired." Annabeth looked around before seeing a window open and walked quickly over to it. "Who are you?" Annabeth said. "Oh, no one important, just a fan." Annabeth pushed the window down and latched it, looking outside. "What you should really be asking is, did you just lock me in or out?" Annabeth quickly turned around, gripping her knife tightly. "If you are in here, I swear to the gods I will." "You'll what?" "You gonna try a little batting practice on me?" "Yeah, you're damn right I will." "Gotta find me first, and I could be anywhere." "I've got your number, we will find you," said Annabeth. "By all means, they'll reach a nice, confused man named Martin Maine. And no one will ever get here in time, so I suggest you talk to me." "What do you want from me?" Annabeth asked. "To show you the truth, Annabeth, about who you really are, and trust me, it's gonna hurt." "You don't even know me," denied Annabeth. "But I do. And that's the real horror show. I know that everyone is lying to you, using you." "What are you talking about?" demanded Annabeth. "Your two-faced friends, your fraud of a family, your whore of a mother. It all started with her, Annabeth, but it's gonna end with you. Also, word to the wise, you tell anyone about this and the next bodies you find will be that nice little family in San Francisco. See ya soon." With that person, the killer, Annabeth knew, hung up. Annabeth breathed heavily, looking around before hearing a thump upstairs, from her murder board. Running upstairs, Annabeth gasped, seeing the entire room was destroyed, papers thrown everywhere, torn apart. Annabeth looked around in fear before seeing something pinned to the wall. Going over to it, she saw it was a picture of all the council members and the Olympians. It was taken after the completion of the temple. Death is too quick. So tell me, daughter of Athena, what is the most common crime that was committed in Greek mythology?